these little things can add up, and here's what it was.
Oh my God, the suspense is killing me.
And Anthony Bourdain, rest his soul, I remember reading someplace he made a statement: if you go into a restaurant and if the bathrooms are unclean, leave the restaurant immediately.
It's the little things, isn't it?
It is.
It's the simple
And that's what we're talking
things.
about today on Simple Sense for Small Business, is how little things that you do or don't do, or your employees do or don't do, have an effect. And it's a hidden effect that you won't even know about. And what's that hidden effect? Who votes with their feet?
People walk, they don't talk. The ones that are talking sometimes are the trouble ones anyway. You might as well just cut your losses, but there are quality.
You're losing good customers.
Are you going to cut
day.
me off every time?
I just cut you off.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I think there are people, the quality customers that know they have options elsewhere will just leave.
Oh, yeah. Like that you said, quality customers. That's what it's all about. Because don't we all want to sell our product or service to somebody who really understands our value?
Yes.
And doesn't quibble about price and just is loyal and refers other people because they're quality customers. How do you get quality customers?
It's about the relationship. It isn't about necessarily the product and the service they want, yes, but they want the resource to know that they have someone to go to talk to rely on when it comes to decisions that involve whatever it is, the product and service that you're providing.
So you have to kind of focus on really minor things that you probably ignore on a daily basis that seem inconsequential. So we just had a wonderful lunch at a new place we've never been to before. The service was great. Mm-hmm. The food was fantastic. Mm-hmm. The coffee was perfectly brewed, perfectly served. At the
accoutrements.
Everyone was personable and really, the service was exceptional. And literally, the only thing I noticed, which is what is inspiring today's podcast, is that when I was in the bathroom was immaculate. Not just immaculate, it had a clipboard in the corner.
On who cleaned it last?
11 a.m. today.
Yeah.
Literally an hour before I was using the bathroom, it had been cleaned with the initials.
And this isn't a corporate enterprise. This is a little country cafe kind of establishment. I
did have a complaint, though, about the bathroom.
Why?
It's a stupid complaint,
Why?
Which I will never complain about, and it's not going to cause me to walk away from this place.
Not a deal breaker.
Not at all. But it's one of those tiny little things that in behaviors of yourself or employees, these little things can add up. And here's what it was.
Oh my God, the suspense is killing me.
The paper towel dispenser.
Yeah.
You're supposed to load those towels in a certain way so that when someone puts their hand up to pull the towel out, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
And the way you do it is with the double fold side facing down, while whoever loaded this dispenser had the towels upside down.
This is like toilet paper.
Oh, that's
a
a stupid Facebook meme.
Well, you're right that this complaint is silly.
It's silly, but
it's a noticeable thing.
Well, it's just because I'm anal. I pay attention to little things like that because I've worked in management and had employees and paid attention to these little things, because these tiny little things translate into other areas of employee behavior.
Well, this actually is a pretty good point.
It's attentiveness, really.
It is, but we're flawed humans. You started by saying, I had a complaint, but it's not a deal breaker, and it really is just your preference of how something was a little tiny bit inconvenient for you. But this is the thing.
It wasn't inconvenient. What I'm saying is, it could...
Why do you have to cut me off?
Because I like talking.
I will be editing this out.
No, you're going to leave this in.
Don't interrupt me, okay? There are little things that are attention to detail, but we're flawed, so there will be things that fall through the crack. But then there are customers and clients where it might not be a deal breaker. And I think the reason that feedback is so important, which is probably a whole other podcast, is your customers will, if they love you, they will tell you, hey, listen, do you mind if you could do this instead of that, or whatever? And that's not going to be like this epic drama of rejection that someone won't be able to handle that kind of feedback, because you've established other things that are more valuable. That paper towel is not a big deal.
It's not, and I agree with you. It's not going to cause a customer to walk away. But where I'm going with this is more along the lines of like Bourdain's comment about unclean. It's a matter of attention to details, because if somebody is inattentive to a detail like that, then what else are they inattentive? And can that affect your ability to build your business with quality customers?
Well, I also think that that's why it's important for the business owner, and if there are employees, to test run an experience. You and I, with our business, before we even got into the EIDL, we did our own business to see how the process would go, to understand some of the nuts and bolts.
We did our own application.
Right.
Yeah. There's a test case.
I think there are things that the business owner has to test, and if you have no employees and you test it yourself, but you want a little bit more feedback, you reach out to some reliable customers or friends, family, whatever, and have them go through a process, or have them let you know, what does this look like? How did this feel? Well, how did you experience this process, depending on the business,
and
depending
I think
on the product.
On the employee side, in a way, you're kind of asking, I don't know if you're asking for perfection, but this attention to detail is important because you're sending a cultural message inside your company to your employees saying, when you pay attention to these little things, it has a resonance on the overall business.
As the business owner, if it's a project or something you're preparing for, you're too close to it sometimes, where it's like you need another set of eyeballs because you've looked at this so much. Let's use my friend Ann Zaprazny, who I adore, and she wrote a book, Mental Health Performance. It's a daily journal for athletes who want to improve their performance. She had a few people who were testing out the experience of working this journal, and I was privileged enough to be a part of that process because she was like, I was too close to it. I don't know, do I use these icons? Do I put lines here? Do the quotes go there? You just have to get out of your own way.
She was worried about that level of detail.
Yes.
She was worried about the paper towels being flipped the wrong way.
1,000%.
Because she understands that concept. People may not consciously notice little things. Customers do, but more to the point is if your employee is attentive to really small things, then they're attentive to the bigger things.
Her expertise is not in graphic design and graphic layouts and stuff. She also knew what should be focused on delegating and outsourcing with that particular level of detail. Her expertise is more refined with the concepts of that in the book, but the graphic design and the layout, she was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. So, want to wrap it up?
What else do you have to say about this engaging topic?
Making sense out of the simple sense of small business.
We want you to be profitable, but we want you to have pleasure. You want to be a business owner. You don't want to be a glorified employee.
You want to own a business. You don't want to own a job. I don't know who said that.
You did. You said that, actually.
I'm sure I picked that up somewhere.
Well, I only heard
I'm
you say it.
not that clever.
And that's one of the reasons I'm enamored with you.
I am pretty clever and witty, but not that clever.
Well, thanks for tuning in, and tune in for our next podcast. And you can find more about us at auroraconsulting.biz.